Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in the market or to just learn from the market. But first, y'all, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. If you could please like, share, comment, subscribe, y'all, all of that, because we learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at Tesla today. Y'all know I say so often, Tesla does what it does, right? We closed at 236.72, and Tesla is an inside day candle for us, which means we have a possible price target should we break this level. Looks as if we've already tried to break that pre-market. So let's deal with the inside day first. So breaking above the 238.05 today gives us an upside target of 241.41. Now to the downside, if by chance we should break under this 230.02, we have a downside target today for Tesla at the 229.20, which would not be surprising, right? So let's see where we are. Now, I like to look at this 30-minute chart again. It just tells me a story that I like to read, right? So as of now, we've been trading in this zone, and we traded this zone on yesterday. Support was around this 232.25. Resistance on yesterday was around this 238.27 area. And as you can see, price has come down and tried to break through this area before. So looks like we've gotten rejected here. As of now, support is around the 236.29. Resistance is going to be here at the 238.27. Where are the trouble places is what I like to say. Breaking this 238.27, we have the ATR trailing stop, which is around the 239.11 area here. And y'all see I have this 239.49 area not far away. So if we should break this area, we could very well have trouble again around the 240.72. If we break that level, we can reach that target today of 241.41. Breaking that, 241.85, and if we should break that, 242.66. Breaking that level brings us back to the 244 area for Tesla. Now, should we break that 244, we could very well come back to the 245.72. So those are your resistance areas for Tesla as of now, right? So if by chance we break under this 236.29, we could very well come back to this area here of 234.57. Breaking that brings us back to 233.68, and if we break that 233.68 area, we could very well come back to this 232 area, 232.25. There's a few layers of support, in my opinion, in this area. Breaking that brings us back to 231.15, and if we should break that, we could very well reach that, trigger to the downside at the 230.02, and breaking that brings us to the target to the downside of 229.06, and if we should break that, 228.10, and under that level, let's say 227.41. So those are kind of like support and resistance areas for Tesla. Keep in mind, y'all, I look at support and resistance on a much smaller scale, because when I'm in the trade, I kind of want to know where my trouble places are. Anything is possible. Those are just, identifying those places. Let me say that, right? So we are now looking at the SPY. We closed at 563.79, and it looks as if we have been trading, the SPY has been interesting also. Let me say that, right? So where are the trouble places as of now? We came down to this area, 561.32 area, bounced from there to go back to the upside, only to come back down to this area here of 562.06. So we bounced from there again. So 562.29 is going to be our support area as of now. Resistance is around the 562.91. So we could very well trade from, this area 562.29 to the 562.91 as, as our trading zone as of now. Now back to the upside above this 562.91, we have 563.20, and as you can see, that is where our 20 EMA is as of now. If we should break that area, 563.51 could very well be a trouble place for us, and if we should break that area, 563 564.20 could be a trouble place. And you see that's the 200 EMA and the 50 EMA not far away. So that could be a trouble place for us here for the SPY at 564.20. If we should break that area, we could very well come back to around the 564.71 and breaking that 564.85 not far away. Now breaking that 564.85 area, I would watch the 565.26. Again, anything is possible, but y'all know I like that ATR trailing stop, in my opinion, is strong support or strong resistance. In this case, it is our resistance. So if we break that 565.26 for the SPY, we could very well have trouble again, 565.60, and breaking that around the 566.23. Now back to the downside, if by chance we break under 562.24, there's a few layers of support here. So I would say under the 562.06 area, we could very well come back to the 561.69, breaking that 561.39, and if we should break that, we could 561.01 and breaking that 560.71. There's another layer of support between that. So I'm trying to pick out the under top layer, bottom layer type thing here. So under the 560.71, 559.84. If we should lose that area, 559.52, and if we should lose that 559.23. Again, I like support and resistance on a smaller scale, y'all. So again, these are your support and resistance areas for the SPY. If you should trade the SPY today, I say so often, y'all, trade carefully. In this market, anything is possible. Nothing is guaranteed. We are now looking at NVDA. We closed at 118.53. And what's interesting is y'all see how close we came to this ATR trail and stop and just kind of like bounced, right? I had this level here of 116.99 marked, right? And the ATR trail and stop is at the 116.89. It's so important that we mark those areas of support, right? And resistance. Let me say that. Now, back to the upside for NVIDIA. It looks as if, as of now, we are kind of, support, I would say, is around the 117.60. Resistance around the 118.16. If by chance we break that 118.16, we have 118.30 again at 118.53, not far away as a trouble place. If we should break that for NVIDIA, 118.87 could be a trouble place. 119.17 again at 119.32, not far away. If we should break that 119.32, I have 119.66 as a trouble place. Again at 119.96, and if we should break that 120.25, and if we should break that 120.49, could very well be a trouble place for us. Breaking that 120.49 area, there's a few layers of resistance here, so I will watch, we can very well get stopped out here at the 120.87, but again, there's a few layers, 120.79, 120.62. There's a few layers before we get to that area. Now back to the downside, under 117.60, we have the 117.24, the 117.01. As you can see, that 117.01 is where we were, and then the 116.89 is our ATR trailing stop. Breaking that 116.50, breaking that 115.97, breaking that 115.66, and if we should break that 115.26, if we should break that 115.26 for NVIDIA, we could very well come back to the 114.45 or the 114.50 area. Again, y'all, I say so often in this market, anything is possible. Let's look at AMD today, just to see where we are. Looks as if we closed at 107.14. This is our gathering spot as of right now. Support is around the 106.27. Resistance is around this 106.51. Breaking that, we could possibly have trouble 106.94. Again at 107.28, 107.60, 108.11. 108.60, and if we break that 108.60, 109.72, those are the resistance areas for AMD as of now. Now back to the downside, breaking under, let's say this 106.29 area, we can very well come back to this ATR trail and stop around the 106 area. Breaking that 106, we can come back to 105.24. However, there is a line here at 105.72, and as you can see, price just gathered in this area here at the 105.72. So I would definitely watch that if I was trading AMD today. Again, not financial advice. So under 105.72, we could find support here at 105.23. The 200 EMA as of now is at the 105.05 area, which is right between this zone that I have marked. So definitely losing that 105.05, we can find support at 104.83. breaking that 104.39, and again 104.08. If we break that 104.08, 103.68, and breaking that brings us to 102.80 for AMD. So if you are trading AMD today, these are areas to the upside and to the downside, and y'all know I say so often in this market, anything is possible, nothing is guaranteed. Let's look at Meta today just to see where we are. It's interesting coming off of the 610 to the downside here. That is, yeah, very interesting. We closed today at 586. As you can see, price came down. Let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger. Price came down to an area that we had marked here at 583.97, only to go back here, bounce, another bounce, and it seems as if support as of now is at that 586.28. Resistance is our 50 EMA. I'm going to use that now as our resistance area, which is around the 587.62. Breaking that level, we could very well have trouble around 589.04, and if we should break that 590.21, if we break that 590.21 or 590.27 area, y'all see there's a lot of resistance here for Meta from, you know, around the 591.19. That's what I would definitely watch. So 591.19 is the ATR trailing stop, and the 200 EMA, which is not far away at the 591, around the 591.55 area. And then we have another area here at 591.98. So I would say it would definitely, looks like if it should go back to the upside, we're definitely going to possibly, let me say that, we're possibly going to have trouble in this area of 191.19 for Meta. If we should break that, I would watch around 592. Did I say 191? 591.98 is an area that I would watch for strong resistance. If we should break that, 592.98 and 594.67. Breaking that, 596.85, and if we should break that, 599.71. Back to the downside for Meta, under 586.09 or 586.28. We can come back to 584.63. or this 583.97, which was our support here. Breaking that level, 582.95, breaking that, 582.22, 581.53, 580.50. That 580.50, in my opinion, is definitely something I would try to keep my eye on around here, 580.50 area, because price was there. If we should break that, we could very well come back to 578.86, and again here at the 577.64. So if you trade Meta today, those are your areas to the upside or to your downside, or in other words, support and resistance. And y'all know I say so often in this market, anything is possible, nothing is guaranteed. We do have a few inside day candles today, and y'all know I like to look at those only to help build a watch list, and I did do a separate video if you would like to check that out for the inside day candles, building our watch list. But today, Wells Fargo WFC is on our list, and I like to give the targets and the triggers. If by chance we break above this level of $73.40, we have $73.83 as the target for Wells Fargo. Now, back to the downside, under 71.78. We have a downside target of $70.83 for Wells Fargo. It is an inside day candle. Affirm is not an inside day candle because I just added it to my list today because I wanted to watch it. Let's say Cleveland Cliffs is an inside day candle. If by chance we break above $9.63, we have $9.72 as the target. To the downside, under $9.26, we have $9.21 as the target. And as you can see, this Cleveland Cliffs just bounced off that ATR trailing stop. It looks like that 5 EMA right now is going to be a trouble place for us. If we should break that level, we could still possibly have trouble 939. And if we break that, 941, not far away, breaking that, we can possibly have trouble 947. I'm using the moving averages at this point as my resistance area. If we break that 947 area, we could possibly have trouble 957. If we break that 957 for Cleveland Cliffs, we can go back to that 963 area and possibly find support or break through it. So those are areas to the upside. Now, I would say trade carefully because we have been at this ATR trailing stop before. Again, Cleveland Cliffs is an inside day candle for us today. DVN Energy is also an inside day candle. If by chance we have already we've already broke through that and reached that target. So the breakthrough candle, target was 36.20. 36.32 gave us an upside target of 36.45. We have broken through that already. Downside, let's say under 35.52. Downside target for Devon Energy is 35.24. Let's go see how much Devon normally moves per day. That's $1.33 again in either direction. So I say trade carefully today. If Devon DVN was an inside day candle, and we have already reached that target pre-market, y'all know anything is possible. Nothing is guaranteed. I say that so often, y'all. So again, I hope that everyone have a very productive day, a very, very productive day today. And one of the things I like to point out, y'all, make sure you use your stop losses or whatever it is that you choose to use today. Make sure that you have the discipline to execute that. So with that being said, y'all, if you could please like, share, comment, subscribe. All of that because, y'all, we learn and we grow together. Until next time, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.